Hello, this is Rob Tepper, your Google Hangouts coach, and I'm going to be showing my partner Matt how we take an idea for a solo ad or a solo ad from a customer, same thing, but basically ad copy. Matt is back. I'm going to be showing Matt how you go from that concept that you've got, or from the ad copy, to put it into several different autoresponders. And we're going to just, because Matt's an experienced guy when it comes to running solo ads and working with autoresponders, we're going to go through it relatively quickly, and we're going to talk about it from a higher level about the inefficiencies and how to be more efficient when you are doing something like we're doing here, which is using multiple autoresponders. And the reason why I'm using multiple autoresponder accounts is, well, there's a bunch of reasons, but for one, I started working with a certain coach, and he had a relationship with one company, so we started working with that company. I already had my Aweber account, so I kept that. I work with a partner who has an Aweber account. I run ads for him, so that's a third account. I bought a business with two accounts, an Aweber and a GetResponse account, so that got me into GetResponse. And I started a List Ninjas account because I was participating in events, and List Ninjas was very event friendly. So the point is that there's reasons, and then you can always choose to consolidate everything into one, but there's advantages and disadvantages to that. So here's what I want to go over with you, Matt. Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you just fine.
Okay, so let me start. Before I actually get into the autoresponder messages, I want to show you one other thing, and that is that coincidentally, I don't know if you know Lewis Turner, but Lewis Turner is a pretty good solo ad guy, and I think he's had some training from Dagan. Let me share my screen, and I'll show you. Just it's more than coincidence that I came across this email last night. So basically what he's saying is, well, first of all, before we worry about his charge, how much he charges, I do know him, and I'm doing other things with him, so we can incentivize, we can come up with our own deal for him. But I think that this will benefit you and me. So here's what he's offering, and he is a solo ad expert. So one-on-one calls could be helpful. The quick catch strategy could be helpful, but the advanced funnel optimization will be helpful. The 24,000 emails supposed to be helpful. QCC, anything configuration-wise, I think I'm in pretty good shape. But this is the part right here that I looked at, and so, and I believe that he can do that. I believe that I'm at the point where I was telling you that what I need, what we can do together, is that we can figure this out. That we can even teach people once we figure it out. And this is like working with somebody as a consultant who can help us figure it out, he's saying, within 72 hours. So if we can get all those tips, if he's talking about, I'm not sure, have no idea what the cost is, but what I would prefer to do would be to work out something with him similar to what you and I are talking about, where he's incentivized, and he's guaranteeing it. So if we're able to take his recommendations and either get my list into a better autoresponder, or do some other things, put some other things in the funnel, or modify the overall autoresponder sequence to something that he has proven recently that works much better, whatever it is, I am thinking that is something that we should do, I would do it with or without you. You can learn from it. We can apply it immediately to my business. I will pay for it if it's something that Lewis and I can work out. I have no idea what the price is, but with the size of the list that I have, it would actually be worth quite a bit if I don't have to pay up front to get this. If we're talking about 3 days, if I could pay 25% up front and the rest a week later, and he's guaranteeing that we can make this money within a week, I would be happy to pay a lot more. So that is one thing that is very much related and where I was headed without you. I think it's important with the size business that I have. I need to optimize it. If I can get double the open rate at doubles the profit, that's a significant number at the size that I'm at. And then if we add on to that, doing the agency part of it that you and I are going to do, and we can do that for our clients. First of all, we can charge them for that, and second of all, we can make them more money. We can make our agency bigger just by helping them. So it's a win-win all the way around. So that being said, let's see. Is there anything else in the way of background? I think that's it. So now I'm going to just move on to the solo ad strategy that, not the solo ad, well, this strategy that I use for running solo ads on a daily basis, let's call it that. So you're still with me, right, Matt?
Yep, I'm still here.
Okay.
I was about to chime in and talk to you too. Yeah, I know Lewis pretty well.
Oh, okay.
I've dealt with Lewis quite a bit. Lewis was actually a McMoby customer at one point as well.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So when we're done with all this, then yeah, I can talk to you a little more about what that email and what you were just talking about that I know a little bit about already.
Oh, you do? Okay, because I know that Lewis had a training about a week or two ago about how to navigate the new Google Slap. I'm hearing reflection again in my voice, so I don't know if this email on May 24th was related to that or not. But anyway, like you said, we can talk about that afterwards. So I'm glad that you know him, and I don't know him very well, but when I started advertising the lists that people have asked me to help them sell, he contacted me and asked me for more information. He said, because people are always contacting me and asking me to sell their lists, so what's your pricing? And I'll show you my strategy on that. Oh, that was the other thing that I wanted to talk to you, actually, that I was trying to think of. So here's my answer to that. This is all, you know that it's new. I told you the other day, but at the same time, I do have a lot of varied business experience, and so I have to think of these things in time to answer people's questions. So here is the way that I am answering the question about the solo ad businesses. Here's the specifics of the three that I have right now, but this is the important part, and this is what I want people to see if I'm going to do this, if we're going to do this, is that we're not out there getting spreading the word that we've got a list for sale very cheap, because I think that cheapens the industry, and I think it's not necessary. It's what people do when they're desperate, and I think that we can add value. But if everybody gets out there and then tells them, oh, they sold it for 70 cents a subscriber, then the sellers will all know how much, and then they won't need us because they'll already be marketing it at the right price. So what I want to do is keep our pricing confidential, and then let the sellers know that what we want to do is to work with them, just like I am working with the people right now. They were very happy with the deal that I made with them, which was they told me how much they wanted, and in my mind I said, you're crazy, you're asking way too little for this. It's a great, incredible asset, and I've worked with Dagan Smith, and I know what it should be capable of fetching, and I've participated in events. I know how much people are paying per subscriber, and I've done solo ads. I know how much people are paying per click, and I've done Facebook ads. So, you know, in my mind, these guys are way too low, and that was what spawned this idea for me. But then it's like Lewis asked me, this woman asked me, they all want to know the price. If I start telling them the price, then they're going to, first of all, they may say it's too expensive, and then, you know, they know what you're selling it for, and it's just, I think it adds kind of an air of mystery, and also it makes us more valuable to be the broker if we're going to do it this way, where we will only share what's necessary. We will always be able to provide, you know, proof of clicks and things like that, but we don't put the buyer and the seller in touch with each other. We don't tell the buyer what we think we can get for it, and we don't tell the seller how much we're paying for it. We tell the seller if we like the deal, like they say, you know, I was going to sell it for 5 cents a subscriber. So, okay, well, we'll give you that plus 50% of anything we can make over that, which is, you know, the same deal that I'm making with you, Matt, the same deal I'm making with you for what we're talking about, increasing, you know, the response from our existing list. It's a good business model. I've always liked it. There have been, you know, a number of companies that have thrived using that model, where they'll come into businesses and they'll say, you know, we don't charge for our services up front, we just charge you half of your savings, or we charge X% of your savings. So far, the two people that I'm working with are very happy with the deal, and it looks like I've got enough interest that it seems like it could be a good business. And so I got a domain name, and it's consistent with everything else we're doing. If we can collaborate with Lewis and get him to refer people to us, and we can in exchange, you know, use his strategies for doing what he's offering to do, to be able to get a much better open rate and click rate on my existing list, then, you know, that's the kind of direction that I am thinking of heading with that. So, with all that said, so here's the the 5 autoresponders. There's Direct IQ. There's yes. Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say I completely agree with you on that. I mean, I think that's the exact direction to go in. Both, you know, with your list and with the consulting. I guess I don't know how I'm thinking of how I want to put it. Selling, you know, the other people's list, I guess, is being as a solo agency,
right?
Per se.
So you like all of that? Sorry, I muted myself. So you like that model? Because
I do. I
think with your background,
I really, you know, like that.
The fact that you've been in this business, people know your name. That you know, you and me together could go out there and do this. We can also have virtual third person, which is a great model. This is something that I have been doing for the last couple of months, is that with my VA, you know, I've just got one VA, and at some point we'll have a whole team, but just starting with this idea is that I knew that I needed him to be independent from me and to have an independent Skype account from his personal Skype account, just in case he left, and I didn't want him establishing relationships on my behalf. I'm sure you're in the same situation, but I did it a little more strategically, because I had a lesson from a very smart guy who basically told me that that he never gives any employee or any assistant enough information to be able to do it completely on their own. So that's the case here, where I didn't want my VA to be able to, you know, build up a whole list on his Skype account of my customers, and then they leave and they've got him and I don't. I'm not so worried about them having him and competing. I'm worried about them having him and I don't. You know. So anyway, I set up an account, and then I had to change VAs, and I realized, okay, so what I really need to do is I need to own this account myself, and I'll call it, it'll be Rob's Solo Swap Manager account, and then if I change VAs, all I have to do is change it out. It's Angelo this week, and next week it's Donna. And people will wonder, gosh, I don't remember Donna, but we're connected. But all I have to do is change the name, and so that is the foundation of the next part. The next part is that unfortunately Angelo doesn't work all the time, and there's a lot of times when I needed him, and I realized the value that he was adding is now he's out there as my manager, and he's out there selling for me like you're out there selling for Kristen, and you've got the opportunity to be able to say no using the good guy, bad guy business strategy, which is you never want to be the person who has the final say and have to say no. You always want to have to go and talk to the boss. That's the car dealer approach. It's just the sales approach. So I, at times when Angelo was out, I started communicating with all of these different groups as him. And so that's what I'm saying. We can have a third person who communicates with customers for us. So it'll be, they'll have to talk to Matt or Rob. So it's just something to think about, and we can use our own reputations that people already know us, and plus have the third person who's a real or a VA or a virtual person that I'm talking about that doesn't even exist at all, as somebody that's out there soliciting for people that are looking to sell their solo ad businesses.
That's great. I actually do a lot of that now because, with working with Kristen, Kristen's prices are standard prices, what most people should be selling at.
Right.
And a lot of it, depending on the offer,
yeah,
it's 50 cents a click. Now, but what I see cheapening a lot of the solo business at the moment is these people that are selling for 30 cents a click, and not because they're trying to get testimonials, they're just selling for 30 cents a click.
Right.
And in my opinion, I don't know how they're able to run a profitable business at 30 cents a click.
They're not. You're talking about kids. You're talking about people from India and Pakistan, and for them they're making a killing. And for many of them, it's their first business. They have no employees. They have no family. It's great. It's incredible. They can make money now. It's competitive, but you're right. Though there's no reason for us to have that model. There will always be those players, and occasionally we can buy clicks from them, but we're not going to compete with them in terms of pricing. So I hadn't actually seen this result, but this is probably my best open and click rate that I've had on this account, but I also got 4 complaints, and that is not good. I'm definitely on the verge of getting booted from AWeber. I don't know why I would have gotten these 4 well, I guess I do, because of this title, and I sent it to all my subscribers. But anyway, we can go over that another time. The point is that this is awesome. If I can get this open and click rate, oh my god, that is way better than I usually do. This is pretty good for me. But the fact is, you can now see that it is possible with my list to get that today, with everything that's going wrong with Gmail and everything else. So here's what I want to show you is, without spending your time to actually make these edits, because making the edits is kind of a, that's where we should definitely either automate or continue to use lower priced labor and use our time more strategically. But sorry, that's not the one. And that's not the one either. Move my screen back so it's being recorded. Okay. Wow. I'm not sure. Oh, yeah, I'm sure that I've caught everything on both visually and audio so far. So, here's an example of a solo. And I guess the strategy, what I've realized recently is that there's several autoresponders that as soon as you put in your link, they will change the link. GVO recently started doing this so that even if you're still in the middle of editing, as soon as you put your link in there, it changes it to their link. So let's just let's do this real message that I need to do. I need to do swipe 3. We did delivery second notice. So here we're going to do, here's your special bonus, Control C. And the reason that I said that about GVO changing is because what you really need to do for many of my autoresponders, you need both an HTML version and a text version. So what you can do is either design it in Microsoft Word, or a little bit more efficient is to either design it or when you've got it mostly done, do it in one autoresponder, then have somebody proof it, or certainly with the VA I always have to proof everything because you can always count on a few little issues, mostly good but not as good as it could be. So what I do is I go in here and Get Response is a good place because it requires both that you create both the HTML and the text version, and I won't ask if you've used any of these or not because you know enough about autoresponders. I will tell you that they're all very, very similar, and with your knowledge of autoresponders, it'll take you 5 minutes to understand any of them that you don't have experience with. So here's your special bonus. And what I always do is I copy the most recent message because I know that the most recent message, anything that I have updated, especially when I'm working with the VA, the most updated is always going to be in the most recent message. So it's just a safe way to go. But really just created one. I don't know why it changes the font. Maybe with your experience with McMoby you can even help with some of this stuff, but this is why you have to do it in one place and then copy and paste it into everywhere else. And so I go in here and I change the font size typically to 14. For some reason this is not even, that's really bizarre. This is the kind of stuff that's just frustrating and annoying, but then you just go through and don't really know why it did that, but you just fix it. And that's another reason why you have a VA to do that kind of stuff, because it looked perfect on the other page, but once you have it looking good in one of these autoresponders, then you're usually in pretty good shape. But let's read it through. Hey buddy, here's your bonus. Click this way to bank, at least $100. Click here to download your bonus. And then this is the wrong tracker, so I want to put my tracker in here. Give me 1 second for that. And so I always provide the tracker to my VA, but now that you will have access to AdTrax Gold and Quality Click Control, that's another conversation to talk about the naming convention. But I'm an engineer. I came up with a convention that is fine. It's not, I'm not stuck on it. I'm open to any other ideas for improvement. Always encourage that. Don't ever feel like I think I know everything and that I think I have all the answers, because that's absolutely not true. And I like to have dialogue, and I like to have input, and I value people who actually think. Most people don't. Most people just prefer to just do the minimum amount that they can get away with. So this is another irritating thing. I don't know, like sometimes you have to go in and, well, I guess because this is not Arial, and now it should be, no, there we go. Then we have to, in this case it's coach and S equals, and this is a sub-campaign, and I'm doing this one, so it's 072013, that's the date, and this is get response. So that's the naming convention. Coach is the name in AdTrax Gold. Let me show you that. Coach is the name right here. Coach, that is the way that I got there was, and there's probably an easier way, but the way that I always get there is from this page. The way that I got to this page was that I clicked on statistics overview, and I got there. And that's what comes up. And then I go to coach, click on coach, and it brings up the page, and everything under coach is those sub-campaigns. So we're going to start seeing clicks. In fact, there should already be some clicks because I have subbed out. I'm doing 2,000 clicks right now in 18 hours, and I can only commit myself to delivering about 250 in 18 hours, but I'd like to be able to deliver them all, and my customer's paying big bucks for it. So these two people, actually these three people, are all delivering clicks in the next 18 hours, and these numbers will add up, plus the clicks that I deliver will add up to about 2,200. I always like to give about 10% over delivery. So, and that's the other thing. People that give more than 10% over delivery, you know, it's kind of like giving 30 cents, 35 cents. It's nice to get testimonials that way, but then you're also setting the expectation, and I don't necessarily think that people need it or expect it. You know, just it's kind of shooting yourself in the foot if you price it. But I do give 10% because I know that it's good to give over delivery. I'm relatively consistent with that, and I do use spillover and a rotator so that I can choose the number that I give, which I think is important. So as you probably know, like in McMoby was nice in the way that it created the links, but all these autoresponders do it their own way, and some of them are a pain in the butt. But in general, you click on it, highlight it, and copy it, and then you go in here and you insert link and you put it in there and you make sure that it's in there. Now this will be our generic ad that we'll use for the other four autoresponders, and the only thing that we're going to change is this get response. We're going to change that to GBO, we're going to change that to AWeber, we're going to change that to AWeber 2, we're going to change that to AWeber 3 because we have 3 AWeber accounts, so we're going to change it to List Ninjas. And then this, I've actually been keeping on my ads for the last few ads. I think I'm going to keep it here, but I want to track how many of the clicks actually came from this placement. So here's how I do that. I just put, at the end of it, I put a 2, or what I could do actually is I should do this because it's not, the 2 is the second time of the day. So I said AWeber, AWeber 2, AWeber 3, but I don't use 2 and 3 because I use 2 and 3 for the second and third time of the day. I use a character in between the A and the W for my other AWeber accounts. So, and that's all documented, and I can show you that. But the point is that I'm an engineer and a little bit anal, and it's got to be systematic if you actually want to be able to use the data. So here's the other one for the Ripplin invitation. This is another link. For this link, we'll go in, we'll change the date to 7/20, and now we've got the HTML version done. Now, since I didn't change any of the words there, we don't have to do anything with that to create the text version. But for the rest of it, I'll go here and I'll just basically replace whatever's there with the new one. If there's long lines, I'll do the wrap long lines. I won't do anything if I run it right now. And then I don't keep track of text versus HTML in terms of the clicks, but there's an opportunity to do that. I do actually do it in this important disclosure information section, and you can take a look at all the stuff that I do. But you know, there's some really good stuff here, but there's more and better stuff that can be done. But You see right here GRT is, so I'm actually tracking when people click on it, and I'm tracking the difference between whether they're using the text or the HTML version, so that I can actually get some data. This actually should be the same. This should be GRT. So I still am finding errors just about every time that I look at this. Like that spacing error. And this is how it should be. And I don't know what happened here. I don't think my VA did that. So, oh, I know. It was when I did the wrap-along lines. So I guess I hadn't wrapped along lines the last time that I created it. So when I did it did that. So, you know, definitely this is what takes the most time, and this is where you can be frustrated with your assistants because they don't do it as thoroughly as you would. And then even the wrap on lines, you know, if you're anal like me, you might go and make improvements. I don't know if this is any better, but that is the text version. Okay, so now we've got the text version, we've got the HTML version, we've got the subject. You should definitely have a list step by step. Here's what you do, so you can just follow it through and not even have to think. But in the meantime, this is how it looks. And in the plain text, did we change those dates? No. See, without a checklist, I almost didn't change the dates. And there's many times when I wind up, you know, either me or the VA. I can't blame the VA because I make the same mistakes, but I think we should systemize it a little bit more and have a checklist for the VA, and if you would be responsible for, you know, managing that person and just working on efficiency, we can make incremental improvements. You know, it's working okay now, but everything that we can do to make it more efficient is good. And so again, getting back to the automation, the only automation that is needed is now we've got an HTML version and a text version and an autoresponder, and in fact we don't need to create them in the autoresponder. What we could do, and what maybe even the smarter thing to do, is that when we're first creating them, you just create it in a Microsoft Word document. So for now I'll just copy it into a Word document, or this is the other way to do it. You create it in an autoresponder, so you make sure everything works in there. And see, then what happens is you got the spacing. I have too many years of this if we're using all these tools, so you know I can get through these pain in the butt things, but it is a pain in the butt. You have to remove the space after paragraph. So that's, now that looks like it should, and then then we want to make sure we don't lose the subject line. So copy that and go back. Not that one. The subject line there. So we've saved that. And then that's the text version. Now go back to the document and copy the HTML version. Let's see. And put the HTML version in here. But now that becomes the template, and we can use that on the rest. So let's put that in the background. Go back here. This is completely done. And this is a weird thing with GetResponse. I don't know. It wasn't always like this, but sometimes between here, I cannot hit the down button and go down. You know that this is the end of my text. But yet, if you look over here, are you looking at my screen? Let me see. I'm looking at the wrong thing. Just make sure. I want to see what you see. I don't think anything has changed. Yes, you see the blank screen. So what I was showing you is, look at that. As you scroll down here, this is crazy. There it is. So I don't know why. I haven't recorded the bug, but the way that I usually get around it is that I just go to the text one. The text one is right there. So no matter how long it is, click on next step. And I'm recording all this, so I'll upload it. You can use it as a reference if you need it, but you know, with your experience with autoresponders, you don't need it. You have to choose your list, and GetResponse allows you to choose multiple lists, but I've only multiple campaigns, they're called. But I only have one right now. and I'm going to send this one immediately. And that was why I wanted to have this call with you now, is because this one really needs to go out. My customer needs 18-hour delivery, and I'm supplying 250 clicks, and I paid other people for 1,750 clicks. So that one is done. Now we can go and do the rest. So let me stop for a second and let you chime in if you need to go, or if you have any questions so far.
No, everything. I'm good for now. Everything's looking fine. Yeah, I mean, as far as the whole thing goes, hyperlinking the text in any of the ARs, that's not a problem. I've used GetResponse. Did a little bit of GBO about a year ago.
Well, here's GBO.
So I don't know how much it's changed.
Let me show you, without actually creating messages, let me show you that aspect of all the autoresponders. I won't actually create the messages. I'll just go through and show you how they work. It'll take about 3 minutes, 5 minutes. So here's GBO. We logged in. Scroll down the side of the page down to autoresponder. Click on that. Always have to do that for some reason. Then click on messages, and then click on broadcast. And by the way, campaign is over here, so you choose your campaign. And I'm doing everything in this first campaign and basically sending to most, not all, and that's a strategic thing we need to talk about. Okay, and that's it. Then you get your existing and pending broadcast. So like I said, I always take the very last message unless there's some reason that I don't like it, and I copy the new message into there. And everything is the same. It requires text and HTML, but it does scramble the link into their GBO internal world coding, and it doesn't do it consistently. So some of my links might look, see, this is still my link, it hasn't cloaked it, and this one I'm sure this one's my link, but this one, even though it looks good here, it's got the GBO. It created a whole GBO code, so it did that as soon as I put the link in, and I think this one is that way too. So if I created the message in here, no, see, this one is still the same. And by the way, that's why GBO doesn't count clicks properly, because it only counts the clicks in this message, it only counts the clicks for this one particular link. I don't know, I don't care. That's why I use AdTrax Gold. So that's GBO. Aweber, piece of cake. Log in to GBO. It'll log you in onto, I don't even know what the page looks like. Let's do it from scratch. Log into GBO. I use RoboForm. It is a lifesaver. That's one of those paradigm shift things. I don't know how I would survive without a tool like that. And it's not the only game in town, but RoboForm keeps all my passwords. Let me just show you real quick. I didn't realize how many passwords I had, and it just grows. These are my different accounts. And that's insane. You wonder why you don't remember your passwords. Alright, so anyway, we log into Aweber and it looks like this. I guess it logs you into the last list that you were working on, and it puts you on the home of that. And then from there, I always click on messages, and no, I don't, because when you click on messages, it puts you in the follow-up series. So you go, navigate your mouse over messages, click on broadcasts, and then it shows your drafts. And I need to clean this out, but there's a lot of drafts in here that were good messages that I thought I would use again that I haven't. But I go down to sent, and this is the incredible open and click rate that we got. Copy that, and Aweber has two different formats. This one, where it just is HTML, and this is actually the easiest. So while we're here, since I'm here, I'm going to have to open the other Aweber to show you the other format. Maybe you can fix this for me. we can fix it together, because it's a pain in the butt. But hold on. That's still redrawing. So what I want to do is to just take this message that you're not seeing. Actually, I'll show it on the screen. I'm just copying this message, and I'm going to put it here. And I'm going to change this. And the nice thing with Aweber is that you just double click on it, and it actually knows that it's a link. But we want to change this to Aweber. And I also changed it here, even though, as you know, it doesn't have to be here because it's going to go whatever this is. But there's always some people that might click on it, and I think it automatically converts to text. So you actually want to change both the visual one and the one that's behind the scenes. And then we want to change the date here to the 20th. Now this already has the 20th. Why does this have the 20th? Did I copy that? Oh, I did. I copied the whole thing. I didn't mean to copy the whole thing. So this is the one. So I need to change that date to the 20th. And this is the tedious stuff. It'd be nice to have one account, so it would save a half an hour. A lot of times I'll start working on this, and with all the distractions, just to get these 5 autoresponders done when my VA isn't around and I have to do it myself, it'll take me like an hour and a half or 2 hours just to do this simple part. Well, maybe 10 minutes on the front end, making sure that I like the message, that it's relevant and appropriate. I should spend a lot more than that to make more personal messages. And then as I'm going through and editing, I'll usually come up with some improvements, and so it winds up taking a little longer than it should. But the reason why there were 4 reports of spam was because there's build list 7, 8, and 9 that I have not sent too many personal messages to. And I'm sure it was those people. The rest of the people already know. But there were probably a lot more clicks from those 3 lists, and those were the people that reported the spam. But again, that's why, if we can get a lot more clicks from the new people, and we can take the new lists that I have, which are many thousands, and integrate in 1,000 new people a week, and be able to start getting, 7-8% click rates from those 1,000, that would be for a week or 2 from those people getting 70 more clicks, and then add in another, and as those go down to 35 clicks, add in another 70, and then I think that could be very powerful. So let's see, that's the message, but I forgot to change the subject this time. So we'll go in here, change the subject. What was the subject? Something like special something or another for you. Here's your special bonus. And also, this is very personalized delivery at email address second notice. People open them up because they think that's what people get upset about. And I actually was putting an unsubscribe link at the top of my messages for a while. I should probably do that again, so they don't, when they call me on Monday and tell me that I'm in trouble, that I'm at least compliant. So what we want to do there is personalize and add in I have another paragraph that I use up there that's kind of nice, but I'll just put that there for now. And I changed the subject, and this is why, another reason why it takes an hour and a half, because I didn't, it's exactly the kind of stuff that happens. I didn't change the subject, and then I realized that I didn't put in the unsubscribe. Now that I got in the unsubscribe, maybe I should send it to those lists again. But no. The reason why I sent it to those lists was because that last message was my affiliate link. So I wanted my subscribers to go to my affiliate link. It was something that I got paid for, not a solo. So that's where I kind of draw the line mentally, is that I want to, for these new people that I haven't had much correspondence with, like list 7, 8, and 9, I'm still trying to send them more personal stuff. But that last one, the message itself was a bad choice for a personal message, and that's why they reported it as spam. But it's great that you understand this stuff with your experience with autoresponders. You can have a lot of value right away, and you can also pick out these things. And I think there's a great opportunity for us to, because I've got so much data, we can analyze it and show exactly why we've gotten the results that we've gotten. And so here you can schedule it, but I want to send it now, and that's how you send it now. The other two Aweber accounts, I'll just show you the one that's different because I want you to see if maybe we can fix it and make them both work the way that I just showed you, or maybe there's a reason we don't want it to. But the other Aweber account is one that I purchased, and it shows the HTML and the text version, so it's the old style, and I have never found anywhere where it says, do you want to switch? And I don't know if it's an advantage. Maybe it's actually an advantage to be creating the text and the HTML like we're doing. Since we're doing it anyway, maybe we should be doing it on the account that I just showed you. But this account gets very, very poor open and click rate. So there's a big opportunity here because it's got 20,000 subscribers and it's an Aweber account. So I think if we change the from name and if we learn from Lewis, this is a huge opportunity. But in the meantime, I'm just spamming these people as long as they will allow me to. And also sending personal messages. In fact, I've had almost 300 people on this list that I bought, from somebody. The first thing I did is I added on this paragraph at the end, the important disclosure information, and I have this internet marketing survey, and I have hundreds of people that Aditya, who is the guy I bought this from, who is being paid in full, he had built a relationship with these people, and then 300 of them have filled out my survey and are looking to learn. And so we can definitely, anything that, they're not necessarily looking to learn the solo ad business, they're looking to learn to make money online, but anything that, we've been talking about where we're going to be training people, where we're going to be teaching people how to make money using any of our expertise, or showing people how to, do what we're doing on Facebook for a certain niche. I think that the people that are on that list that have filled out the survey are more of a warm market. And they're more of a warm market for Ripplen. They're more of a warm market if I wanted to build any business like Empower. But I think that choosing between Empower and Matt Lloyd and everything else, I have chosen Ripplen. And so, I'm looking at applying all of this outside of affiliate marketing. I'm looking at applying all of this to the Ripplen business. So anyway, I don't have to show you the rest of this. I can do that myself later. And just to show you how DirectIQ works, a little different, but kind of cute. Must be some girls running this company because they love pink. You go to the email templates page, you go to my templates, and they're actually doing some of the stuff Mobi was doing. I was even thinking maybe Mobi sold to them. So what I'll do here is I will copy this. And this one also only does an HTML version. Makes a copy like that. And you click on the edit button. And then you do your editing. It's got the personalization. It's got these nice little symbols that are kind of cute you can put. I haven't used the heart yet. I'm not sure that my subscribers would like that. Maybe we can separate by female and male subscribers and send the heart to the women. But anyway, this is a very easy one to use, just for shits and grins. Is that what this is? Let's just copy and paste this message, the HTML version of this message to here. And also when I'm sending out solos, I don't put Rob Tepper, your internet marketing coach. I'm trying to separate the solo ad audience from my personal audience, and there is an opportunity there. It's one of the things that Lewis can help with. It's one of the things that Mike knows about. it's one of the things you really have to understand to be successful with the solo business. And so I'm doing an okay job of it, but I've been thinking I need to step it up. The fact that you and I started talking, I think we are going to do this, and we'll involve in whoever we need to. So there we changed. I've got the suffix on that one is DIQ instead of get response. So DIQ. I mean, is it necessary? Well, up until now I would say it's wasted a lot of time going in and doing all this because we haven't been looking at the data. But if you and I actually look at the data, then it will have been worth every second. So, especially if we can look at the data and we can come up with some interesting conclusions, like the top 10 things we learned, and do a webinar about that could be powerful. So that is digital IQ. Direct IQ. I like it. I'll finish that message in a minute. And then the last autoresponder, I had it up here earlier, but is it this one? I think it might be this one. Yeah, List Ninjas. List Ninjas, I started with around the same time as with Moby, and I have a $25 a month account, so I didn't cancel it. I get lousy deliverability, but I've got a good list over there, and it's almost 10,000, and so I've kept it because up to 10,000 is 25 bucks a month, and so why not? But I might also have duplicated this list and put it into Direct IQ, and this is something that in theory we're not duplicating. What we're doing is we're as a business, we're just trying to make sure that we are getting our message to the people on our list. I'm still communicating under the same name. It's just that if I wasn't getting any response on one autoresponder, I might be using another one. But for Direct IQ, the way that one works is I go into broadcasts, and this one requires both HTML and text. I actually have two lists. This middle list, Stephen P, I think is empty, but all of those people are in the 6 events list. So this is called 6 events, not 6E events. It's 6 events because that's the subscribers I got from running 6 events. And so what I do on this one, scroll all the way down to the bottom, which is a little bit of a pain. I don't know if I'll change that. And then I will copy the most recent message. And, same thing. It's got text, HTML. When we're done, we can schedule it. List Ninjas is based on time, based on the UK time, which is the only company that is UK. The rest are either Eastern or your local time. And that is it. That is all of them. And I appreciate you watching this. So before I turn off the recording, do you have any questions about any of these autoresponders that I should answer? For anybody else?
Actually, no. Everything is pretty much straightforward. Just a matter of really just getting into them and doing that. But I definitely see some areas where we can start to improve. Definitely with like you were talking with some of your more personal areas of your list. And definitely getting into some segmenting, so areas of the list or moving those subscribers to a certain autoresponder, so that we don't sell solos to.
Yep, exactly. And that's why, for sure. And that's just to keep in mind that we can do that with the small portion of my list that is still, that I have that opportunity with, that I haven't started sending a lot of solos to. There's some, as I told you, those 3 lists, and then there's 1 list over here. So 4 lists that I would try that with. But then with my new subscribers, that there's many thousands, we can start that one the right way, and as you said, segment as we go. Most of these autoresponders, at least Direct IQ, which is the one that I'm going to be using for most of my imported lists does allow you to segment, and it might be time, once we can't do that kind of stuff, then I would look at Infusionsoft, or a tool that does it the right way.
Yeah, that sounds great. Yeah, with the Infusionsoft, I mean, there's pretty much everything you would be able to need within that platform. And pretty much your entire marketing business can be done within Infusionsoft.
That's what I hear, but I don't really know what I'm missing. So I just know that when it gets to a certain size, even though Infusionsoft is expensive, it can just make a world of difference. So if we start hearing that we can't do what we want to do, if, we need another solution, then we'll look at it. But I think for now we can do a lot more than I'm doing with what I've got, and so I want to start with that.
That sounds like a good plan.
Alright, well, let me turn off the camera, and then I'm going to finish these autoresponders so I can send out the messages, and I'll upload this so we've got it so you can refer to it if you need to for any reason, and then in our next conversation we can talk about any thoughts that you have about this, and when you want to start, and what would be the top 5 things that you would want to think that you need to be doing to get started, and maybe the same thing for me, what you think I need to be doing both to support you and to make sure that we can actually pull all this off.
Yeah, that sounds really good. Once we stop here, I've just got a couple off-topic questions for you. So.
All right, so let me press stop. So this is Rob Tepper and Mr. Matt Ecott, and we have been talking about how you take a message from the time that you start creating it, or you have it created, until you launch it across multiple different autoresponders. We talked about some of the challenges, we talked about some of the opportunities, and we talked a lot about just the how-to. So this is Rob and Matt. Let me put my face back on the screen for 1 second. Not that way. How about this way? There we are. So Matt doesn't have his picture on, doesn't have his live face on here, so there's Matt and his family, and me and my family. Nope, me and my brick wall. And we are signing out. Alright, hope this was worthwhile.